I'd say he's a good man. You know, he's an honourable person, a fighter, been through and seen a lot of the world. And I think at this stage, he's really maybe the happiest when the play starts. You know, maybe the happiest he's ever been in life. You know, if he says he's been through slavery, he's travailous history, he's travelled everywhere, and he's seen a lot of death. So I think at this point, he's feeling very joyous. And but I think overall, he's a good human being. You know.
So Iago is he's Othello's kind of right-hand man. He's ancient, as he says. You know, in this production, I guess he's his sergeant, and but that he's kind of a frontline troop. You know, where he's a grunt, and but he has aspirations. He wants to be lieutenant, but he gets passed over for Cassio, and also Iago. He's kind of he's a player of games as well. He's a bit of a chancer, you know. He's got Rodrigo in his pocket. He's making a bit of money from Rodrigo as well. So all that on the side, as well as everything else. He's also one of the lads, you know, and he likes that. He likes his kind of position within the community of the soldiers and everything, where he's very well liked in all that. Like I say, one of the boys, but he's a user. He uses that to his own purposes and to great effect in it as well. But there's a couple of things. I mean, it's about jealousy and revenge. And the revenge part is really about being passed over for the lieutenant post for Cassio. He set this up. There's 3 great ones of the city that have gone to Othello to sue for him, to say, you know, give him the post. And he says, no, but I've already given it to Cassio. So he's already been passed over. That's bad enough. And then this little niggle in his mind about the fact that maybe Othello has been with his wife, been with Emilia. So he's been cuckolded by Othello as well. And bit by bit, that all builds up. He's a troublemaker as well. He starts to enjoy it as it goes along. You know, from those little things, you know, trying to cause trouble with the dad, with Brabantio. And bit by bit, it just gets out of hand. But he likes it, you know. He starts to enjoy it. I think that's why he sees it. He tries to see it through to, like, it's bloody conclusion, yeah.
No, I don't feel so. It's, as you would call it, you know, he would feel it as a white man's world, especially in those times. But in terms of the context of the play here, I feel like created a character, Othello, that overcompensates possibly for the circumstances that he's in, and so maybe he stands tall, he stands strong, he does everything to overcompensate for that feeling of not being accepted, and yeah, he's switched on, you know. He knows the opinions and the feelings that are towards him, but he's brave enough to, you know, marry a white woman. And that's the kind of man he is. He is a person that lives by his own rules.
Oh, because they all like him. I mean, absolutely. Like you say, he's all things to every person, you know, and that's his plan. I mean, the thing is, at the beginning of the play, he doesn't know that he's going to do all this. This all kind of builds as the play goes on. What, you know, this revenge and this jealousy as it goes on. But before that, you can see that this guy has been using people for years for whatever he needs, like be it Rodrigo, be it Othello, be it Emilia, be it Cassio, whoever. You know, like whatever, the best, they just see the best in him. Honest Iago, they keep calling him, and with good reason, because he's given them no reason to think otherwise. But they have every good reason to think otherwise if they just saw beneath the veneer.
His failings are, he doesn't talk to people. He just receives the information and doesn't actually, you know, usually if someone tells you something, some bad news about someone else, your instinct is to go and ask that person straight up, I've heard this. He doesn't do that. He plays games. He plays games with himself. He falls into if you're talking about listening to in your head like a negative censor and a positive censor, he always follows the negative censor. He tries to follow the positive. I do not think, but Desdemona's honest. But he's really more engaged with the negative side of it, and so I think those are his failings in this play that take him to where he is that he never ever talks about it with Desdemona, and he just sees it as truth to the point where he drives himself crazy. That plays into actually what you talked about earlier about him not being accepted. Who can he talk to? Maybe that's another thing, because he can't talk to Iago. Iago's telling him everything. Maybe he can't talk to Cassio, but really and truthfully he should talk to Cassio, and then the play doesn't exist. So as that for me, he just keeps it all in, and there's no reason, doesn't say why in the play. You just have to. That's the kind of man he is, and that's his biggest failing for me in this piece.
Just as another thing to be used, he doesn't have a great opinion of women. I think it's interesting because he has that speech. Come on, your pictures out of doors, your bells in your parlours, your wildcats in your kitchens, and it's brilliant antithesis between both. To say, 1 minute, you're lovely, and 1 minute you're the devil itself. Yeah. So and he thinks that you know what I mean. They're to be put up with almost, but also he uses them as well for his own good. It's funny though as well, because he is jealous because he thinks Emilia has been with Othello. He also thinks maybe Cassio as well, thinking that of her, and that's as much to do with his good name as anything. But also, I think at one point they probably did love each other, but that's kind of maybe, I don't know. That's it's a marriage on the rocks, that's for sure. And then other women in the play, he uses Bianca like nobody's business. That's why he's delighted when she turns up with a handkerchief. That's amazing. You know what I mean? He never expected that. That's even better. This it's just good luck. And it's another woman doing, a foolish woman.
He's in love, so he views Desdemona as someone is equal to him because he's in love with her. And he's as I said before, he's a good man. He's been poisoned, and it's an honor killing, or not necessarily a killing out of hate. It's more to do with how could you do this to me? Now I'm shamed forever, which happens to this day, which is unfortunate. No one deserves to die over that, but. I would say that he views women as, he only really has much contact with Emilia and Desdemona, obviously, but I would just say I feel there's a love towards that, especially, of course, Desdemona, and he risks his life for her, so if he's able to do that for her, then his view of women must be very high.
At this point in the play, where like after the soliloquies and everything, because he's the villain, Iago anyway is the villain, kind of telling his plan, as villains like to do. So the audience at this point in the play are absolutely complicit with him. Mm-hmm. And so they pretty much, they're looking at him and what he's doing. You can't see it, but they can. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's where, I think anyway, Shakespeare, from Iago's point of view anyway, Shakespeare wanted the audience to start feeling bad that they are complicit in it, to watch what he's doing to Othello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't think, in terms of the seed being planted, when he starts to lose it, when he starts to really, when it starts to really poison his body, and he slaps Desdemona. I think when he has that scene where he throws money on the floor and touches her, I think that these points, the audience are like sort of feeling for him, But at this point, because everything I feel like is there's the Senate scene, it's just everything up to this point is him. He's not really sharing with the audience in terms of what is. He shares what he wants and what he needs, but he's not sharing a plan
Yeah.
You know?
It's
So-
funny, isn't it? Because it is gradual in this scene.
Yeah.
Like it gets more extreme as the rest of the scenes go on. But 3-3, it's just those points, isn't it? Like where kind of bit by bit, Iago talks a lot. God, he does throughout the whole play. But like in this bit, you know, it's that kind of trying. It's passive aggressive. Like, you know what I mean? Trying to put the point across, dropping those words in like jealousy and good name and all that kind of thing. You know, just to leave him with just that, even the little merest bit of doubt. That's fine.
Yeah.
You know, because the audience are watching and knowing where he's going to go with this, and this is the kind of start of it. You know, it's not there yet. It doesn't get there yet until the very, very end of the scene, as such, and then it gets worse and worse as it goes on. But long live she so. I do not think but Desdemona's honest. Long live she so, and long live you to think so. You know, that's a clanger.
Yeah, and he straight away says, "Why did I marry?"
Yeah.
So
yeah, but yeah, she comes on then.
Yeah.
After this bit, she comes on then, and you know, you're all right with her. It's well, you know, it's there. I mean, you know, it's underneath, yeah. It's not there yet. You know, the worm hasn't kind of gotten in just yet. Nearly there. But I think, I think the audience is certainly feeling complicit.
Yeah, that's the magic.
And hoping that, like, oh, don't take the bait, like, don't take it, the worm.
And he does, as a lot of people do.
It's funny, isn't it? Because like watching this now, everyone, like not everyone knows Othello, but a lot of people do at this stage. It's interesting playing it to young people, wherein that like some of them won't know it at all. And the thing is, it's like a thriller, so you kind of reading it for the first time or seeing it for the first time, you're kind of going, oh no, don't do that. So I think that's fascinating to have like young people who don't know the story of it at all, because it's such a famous story now. Experiencing it like it would have been 400 years ago, where people are kind of sitting there going, "You're joking me, do not do that." You know, like watching a movie, and they sit there and go, "No,
don't listen to him.
Yeah,
Leave the room.
yeah, get out, man. Yeah.
Yeah.